EuroKitchen is Anna's kitchen, but it's your kitchen and it's everybody's kitchen. If you want to try a place where the food's finger licking, just come on in to the EuroKitchen. Anna's always cooking food that looks and smells so good. It's fine cuisine from all corners of the world, right in your neighborhood. It's Italian dinners and Portuguese fare. It's Francais food with a European flair. You can stop right here with all your channels switching and pull up a chair in the EuroKitchen. Anna's EuroKitchen.
Hi, I'm Anna Marie and welcome to this edition of EuroKitchen. We're here in 2016. We're so happy to be taping new shows. Today we're going to talk about polenta. Polenta is a big staple in Italian households, and we always had it when I was growing up. It's a big thing in northern Italy, just as though macaroni is to southern Italy. In northern Italy, they use polenta just like they would use pasta or rice. They use it in place of that. They actually have a special day in northern Italy that they call polentone, and that's which means big polenta, and they celebrate polenta. Mostly every household has a big copper pot and a giant wooden spoon that they actually call penandoni, which is the pot that they use to cook the polenta in. When I was growing up, my mother always made polenta, and my dad used to call it mush, but we always had a big container in the refrigerator full of that. And if we didn't, my dad would always say, "Could you make me some mush?" So I'm going to show you how to make polenta today. And what's really nice is polenta has really become really popular in America. It's on all the menus in restaurants. You can have it a lot of different ways. I'm going to show you today a couple ways. I'm going to show you how to cook it first, and then I'll show you like how my dad used to eat it with the mush. My mother would put it in the bowl with sausage and peppers. You can put gravy over it. You can use it with short ribs. Then I made some up last night. I'm going to show you how to cut out. We're actually going to make sandwiches with it, with prosciutto and capicola and mozzarella. Then I'm also going to show you how to use it as an appetizer with gorgonzola cheese. So I think you're going to really enjoy this show. So let me give you the ingredients first. You want to start off by using, and this will serve 8 to 10. So you can double the recipe. You can cut it down if you need to. We're going to start with 4.5 cups of water. You want to bring that to a full boil. Then you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. After that comes back to another boil, you're going to put in 1.5 cups of cornmeal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add my water first. I'm going to put my heat on high, and I have 4.5 cups of water here. Like I said, this is going to serve about 8 to 10 people. So we'll put that in, and then after that is going to come to a boil. That won't take long at all. Then we're going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. You always want to taste everything when you're cooking. I hear a lot of people say, well, I didn't really taste it. You want to taste it because it could need maybe a little bit more salt, or maybe it needs another seasoning. So always taste your food first. So we're going to get this cooking. Now on the back here, I have some San Marzano tomatoes. They're canned tomatoes, but they're great. They're right from Italy. I put a little basil with them. I'm going to start the sauce for the sausage and peppers. So I'm going to put this burner on here. And what I did is I got the San Marzano tomatoes, and I'm going to show you. They're a little bit more expensive than your regular tomatoes, but they're so good. They're right from Italy. They're fresh packed, which means they're really fresh. A lot of times people are afraid to get stuff that's canned, but it's packed right away. So I'm going to make my sauce with these San Marzano tomatoes. They have a little bit of basil with them. So I'm going to put these in the back, and I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in my pan. Okay, now I have some crushed garlic. I like to buy my garlic in the jar where it's already crushed and it's in with water. And I want to show you what that looks like. This will keep in your refrigerator forever. And that keeps you from having to peel the garlic cloves and taking all that time. This can stay for like a year. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this. I think it's about 1 teaspoon is the equivalent of like 2 garlic cloves. So I'm going to put that in the back. And I just want to saute that garlic up a little bit. I'm just going to get that mixed up. I just want to infuse that oil with that garlic flavor. So I have that in the back. I fried some sausage up ahead of time. I like to buy my sausage in bulk, especially when I see it's on sale. You can take it out of the casings and chop it up. You can use it as regular sausage and peppers. And I have my peppers with it. And I like to buy the mozzarella in bulk, and then I'll slice it up. We're going to use those for the sandwiches. Okay, so this is starting to simmer a little bit. So I want to show you. It doesn't take long to get this going in the olive oil. Oh, I can start to smell it. It smells so good. So before that starts to brown, let's add our tomatoes to the pot. And this was just 1 jar of the San Marzano tomatoes. I love them. Like I said, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're so worth it. They're right from Italy. You know, a lot of times you'll see stuff saying that it's from Italy and it's packed in New Jersey. It's not really from Italy. This is straight from Italy and canned. So this is going to be really, really good for our sauce. So I got that on high, got this one on high. This is just starting to come to a boil. I want to add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So there's my 1. Now I'm going to add my 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. Just get that stirred around. Okay. So I want that to come back up to a full boil. In the meantime, I'm going to start to measure out 1.5 cups of the cornmeal. Let me give this a stir back here. Oh, this is going to be so good. You guys are going to love this. Because a lot of people don't know how to cook polenta. They don't know all the different ways you can do it. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Okay. Let's measure out a cup. I always keep cornmeal in the house because a lot of times when I make the homemade pizzas, it's good to put on the pizza stone. I love it for corn muffins. You can use it in a lot of recipes. Okay, so that's about a cup. And I'm going to go ahead and get my 1/2 cup ready. Okay, so now I have 1.5 cups. And a lot of people are afraid to make cornmeal because they're afraid that it's gonna pile up on me and it's not gonna come out smooth. I'm gonna show you an easy way to do it. Okay, so this is at a full boil. So what I'm gonna do is just turn it down to about a medium-high heat. I'm gonna quick stir my sauce in the back. Okay, before I get to this, what I'm gonna do is ahead of time I made my sausage. So I just want to cut these up and put them into that tomato sauce so that'll take on the flavor. So I just have 2 links of nice Italian sausage with fennel. You can get the hot sausage, you can get it with garlic, whatever you prefer. But you know, we're in the cold weather season now. This is a really stick to your ribs type of recipe. It's so good to have. And you know, if you're making short ribs and you have your sauce, you could use your polenta with that too. And I have some nice red roasted peppers here. I just want to slice these up. I just want to slice them up and put them in my sauce. So I've got my red roasted peppers. They're going to go right in the sauce. And I got one more here that I'm going to add. Now we can give this sauce a nice stir. And this will just cook on the back burner until we're ready for it. Okay, so that's going. We got that on medium-high. Now, I've got my water boiling, so I'm going to start off with a whisk. Afterwards, I'm going to revert back to my old wooden spoon. So what I do is just in one stream, let me do it this way. I'm going to keep incorporating this. And that's why I like to use a whisk in the beginning. My mother always had this one wooden spoon. Oh my gosh, she used that forever. But if I feel that if I use the whisk in the beginning, I won't get any lumps, and then I'll go back to the wooden spoon. So I've got this all stirred. Now I'm going to put in my other 1/2 cup. Just keep on stirring as you put it in. Okay, so now it's all in. Now I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit to medium, and I want to now just give it a really good stir. I want to get that all incorporated. I want to break up any lumps that are in there. But you know, it's funny when people talk about polenta, they're like, oh my gosh, you got to stand at the stove for like 40 minutes. You don't have to. This usually takes me, take this off for a second, turn this down. This usually takes me about, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. It's not a long process. It's not like you're making, you know, your arborio rice and you have to keep adding the hot liquid to it. This is all in the pot. So I'm going to let you see what it looks like now. It's pretty thick, but I got a couple little lumps in there. That's why I like to use my whisk. I want to get this all out. Got any aggressions that day from work? You can take it out on your polenta. So I'm getting all of the lumps out of here. And then I'm going to go over to my wooden spoon. Now, there's not any flavoring in here now because it's just the salt and the water. But when this is all cooked, then I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'll add my cheese. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more now to low. So what you're doing is you're just cooking this cornmeal over the stove. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to switch. I've got my lumps out of there, and I'm going to put this in the sink, and I'm going to switch to the wooden spoon. As you can see, mine's pretty used too. This is just my spoon I always use for polenta. And it's nice because I know it's not going to scratch my pans. It's going to be fine. But you just want to give it a nice stir. You want to keep turning it and bringing it from the bottom up. It's not going to stick. It's on low heat, but you just want to keep cooking it. So this would take normally 15 to 20 minutes. Because of TV, I'm not going to take the whole time to show you how to do it. So what I'm going to do is put it on the back burner so I can show you the other recipes. So if I show it to you now, this is the consistency you want it. You just want it to cook thoroughly. It has to finish cooking almost like you were baking it in the oven. You just want this to cook for about a good 15 to 25 minutes. So I've stirred it really well. I've gotten my lumps all out, and that's what you're going to do. You're just going to keep stirring it for that 15 to 25 minutes. This is what the polenta looks like, and this is how they always do it. Once it's cooked, you can spread it into a Pyrex dish. I just put mine on the cutting board, and you want it to firm up like this. You can put it in the refrigerator overnight. It'll firm up right away. You can use it right away too. So now I'm going to cut it. If you wanted to, I could cut this and use it as noodles for lasagna. I'm going to actually cut it and use it to make sandwiches and an appetizer. You can do anything you want with this. So I'm going to show you some tricks on how to do this. And first I'm going to start off with a little bit of olive oil and butter. I love to use olive oil and butter together. I'm going to put just a little bit in the pan, maybe about 2 tablespoons. Okay, and I'm going to take my butter, and I'm using salted butter. Okay, so we just want to mix the butter and the olive oil, and we're going to use this to fry in. I'm going to make the polenta with the gorgonzola cheese, and then I'm going to make some polenta sandwiches for you. So we're going to let that melt down. As you can see, we're in a new setting here, so it's taken me a while to get used to where I put everything, so bear with me. All right, so what we're going to do with this one is we're going to start off first by making the polenta as an appetizer with gorgonzola cheese. You can use any cookie cutter you want. You could use a knife. I love to use the cookie cutters, so I'm going to start with this. And I'm just going to make like that. And see how firm the polenta is? That's why you can use it like a noodle. They use it so much in Italy instead of pasta, instead of rice. So we're going to start off with this, and I'm going to get these. I've got my butter going. I'm going to fry some of these. These are so good. And you know what? Don't be afraid to do this. Don't be afraid of doing any of this stuff. You just want to get in the kitchen and try them. I'm going to do about 4 of these for you. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to fry them on one side, and then I'm going to put them on the other side. Then I'm going to put gorgonzola cheese on them. And I have to tell you, growing up, blue cheese was my father's favorite cheese. He loved Roquefort dressing. That's what he used to call it all the time. And as I got older, I realized there's a different type of cheese. The Italian cheese is the gorgonzola. All right. Oh, this smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I say that all the time, but this smells really, really good in here. Okay, so I just want to show you that. This is the polenta, and I've just got it in, like I said, the butter and the olive oil. Now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to turn them so that they're nice and brown on either side. I love cornmeal. Oh, it's nice and toasty. Okay. Turn this down a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is, you can find gorgonzola in the store, in the Italian section, in the cheese things. It's just gorgonzola cheese. It's a type of blue cheese. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that gorgonzola cheese and I'm going to put it on top of the polenta. Oh, this is so good. This is a great appetizer if you're having a party or if you're having people over. Like say you were making a pasta dish and you want to serve this, this would be so good. So I'm just adding these on. Okay, then this is going to melt. Oh, it smells good, good, good. Oh, they're nice and toasty. Oh, those look delicious. So these are our polentas, and in there I had put butter and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and then I let it get hard. I cut them out with a cookie cutter, and that's just Gorgonzola cheese on top. So this will be our first appetizer. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn off the heat on my sauce, and I'm actually going to serve this for you. This is the consistency my dad liked it when he used to call it mush. So let me spoon this one out for you. Gosh, I can spoon it right out of here. You don't have to let it harden up. You can serve it just like this. This is perfect with sausage and peppers, tomato sauce. If you want to put brown gravy on it, you can do that. This is so, so good. All right, so I'm going to put that to the back. And then what I'm going to do here is I want to add a little bit of butter to it. Butter makes everything better. So we're going to put a little bit of butter with it. Okay. Now we're just going to stir this in and let the butter melt. So I'm just stirring my polenta with the butter. At this point, I could add some Gorgonzola cheese. I could add some Parmigiano Reggiano to it to give it some good flavor. But where I have all those flavors already in the sauce, I'm not going to add any cheese to it now. Okay, so there's that. I'll put my peppers on top. Oh, it smells so good. So this is just peppers and onions that I cooked up. And I have it with my polenta, and this makes a great meal. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so put this to the back. Look how good that looks. We've got our polenta with sausage and peppers. You can add onions if you want to, whatever you like, but this is a perfect, perfect meal. So already we have two little things made out of polenta. So put that one aside. Now we're going to make polenta sandwiches. I love this one. I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of this. One for the top and one for the bottom. And what you want to do is you're going to dip these in egg and breadcrumb. So what I'm going to do here is I have my egg. Okay, I'm going to take my egg and I'm just going to beat this. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to it. This is what we're going to dip our sandwiches into. So it's just our beaten egg, and I have my breadcrumbs. So what I have here is 2 different types. I have prosciutto, and I just asked them to slice it really thin. You can use imported or domestic. Prosciutto is from De Parma. It's just a really, really good thin ham. Really, really thin. It's got that nice salty bite to it. So I have my prosciutto. And then my favorite growing up was capicola. There's sweet capicola and hot capicola. I love the hot. So I said I got to make myself a sandwich with the hot one. And what this is the difference between the sweet and the hot is if you look around the outside of the capicola, that's where your hot pepper is, that red ring. So this is the hot capicola. So I'm going to make a sandwich with this too. And I'm going to put mozzarella with it. So I have my 2 pieces that I cut up. I'm going to put them on the board here. And you can save these little scraps. Don't throw them away. You can use those. So first I'm going to lay down a piece of capicola. And I'm going to take a piece of my nice mozzarella, fresh mozzarella. Okay, we're going to put that on there. Oh, it's going to be so good. We're going to take our sandwich. We're going to cover it on all sides with the egg. Okay, Once you have it dipped in the egg, now you want to put it in the breadcrumb. You just want to get it all coated, all sides. Now comes the fun part. We're going to fry our sandwiches. So in goes the first one. Okay, now I'm going to take my second one. This one I'm going to make with the prosciutto. So I have my second piece of polenta. I'm doing the same thing. Save my little scraps. I'm going to turn it over. Let me just wash my hands a little bit. This one I'm going to make with the prosciutto. The one I made there was with the hot capicola. So I'm going to take this, take a nice piece of prosciutto, and I'm just going to fold that like that. Take another piece of mozzarella, put that on there, get myself another topping for my sandwich. Okay, so now I have the prosciutto and the mozzarella, same thing. We're going to dip it in our egg. We want to coat it on all sides. Turn my heat up a little bit for that. So we're coating all sides, and now do the same thing and put it in the breadcrumbs. I just want to get it all covered with the breadcrumbs. It's going to be nice and toasty. Oops, I lost a little piece. Put that back together and put that in the pan. Wash my hands. Okay, so now we're making our sandwiches. So let's get this out of the way so you guys can see what's going on. And we'll move this down. But yeah, don't throw any of those little scraps away. You can use those. So we'll move our polenta down. We'll see how everything's going here. This way your mozzarella is going to melt, and you're going to have a capicola sandwich and a prosciutto one. You could also make these as an appetizer too. You don't have to have them as sandwiches. You can cut them from that square. You can cut them into quarters. Okay, so let's check and see how these are doing. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Okay, let me show you what they look like toasted. You want that nice brown, crispy crust on it. We'll let these cook a little bit more. Then we'll serve those. So you know what's nice? Because a lot of people have always heard about polenta, but they're not sure what to do with it or how to cook it. And a lot of times now, I remember I was in the grocery store with my mother years ago, and we saw polenta. They have it at the deli already like in a tube casing. And they also have it served in the aisle where your pasta is. It's like in a little brick that's cryovac. And I used to say to my mom, hey, look, the polenta's already made up. She's like, don't buy that. You always make yours fresh. So I think of her now when I'm making the polenta. I'm like, oh, she'd be proud of me. I'm making my polenta. But these sandwiches are going to be so, so good. So these are all toasted. So I'm going to take these out now and put them on the plate. One with our prosciutto. Ooh, that looks delicious. And we have our one here with the capicola, my favorite. Okay. I am so excited to try this. And Kelly, my producer's never had polenta, so this is going to be a great little lunch for us today. So first, let's start off with our little sandwiches. Look how cute they are. So there's prosciutto and mozzarella in one, and my favorite, hot capicola in the other. So let's cut into them and see what they look like. They're perfect little sandwiches. Oh, look at that. So good. We've got, this one is the prosciutto. Oh my God, Kelly, you're gonna love this. Oh, this is so good. This is really, really good. Okay, this one is my favorite, the capicola. So let's try this one. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? That mozzarella's all melted. Just have to take a little sampling of this one. I don't even know how to describe this to you. This is like heaven. That polenta has such a good taste from the butter and the Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. I've got my favorite meats in there, the prosciutto and the capicola and the mozzarella. Look how good that is. Everything's all melted. So those were our little sandwiches. And let's get over to our mush. My dad would be so proud of me right now. Okay, I've got my sausage. Take a little bit of my cornmeal and my roasted red peppers. Wow, does that take me back? That takes me back to my childhood. That is delicious, if I say so myself. This is so good. So hearty, too. It's like a stew almost. So it's just the roasted red peppers, sausage, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. You can put more cheese on top. Loving it. Now our appetizers. So this is the polenta with the gorgonzola cheese. This looks good. So good. Oh, Dad, I wish you were here. This is a meal meant for you. Your favorite mush that Mom used to make, your Roquefort gorgonzola cheese. This is awesome. Kelly and I are going to have a great lunch when we finish taping. If you want something made on the show, or you're afraid how to make something, you want to ask it, please just go to my Facebook page, Anna Marie's Euro Kitchen. Friend me, I'll Facebook you back, and we can talk and enjoy. So I will see you next week, okay? Bye-bye.